The New York Knicks appear to be interested in former lottery pick Jarrett Culver as they've brought him in for a free agent workout, and we have to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and let's jump right into the news today, because according to Ian Begley, the big name at the New York Knicks free agent camp is Jarrett Culver. Now, this was reported the other day, so it's going down today. The New York Knicks free agent camp, there will be a ton of other players there, and essentially what the free agent camp is, it's basically a tryout. It's for guys who can discuss their contract situation or lack thereof with teams because they're not under contract, so there is no restriction. If you're an NBA free agent, you're allowed to talk to teams as long as you were not on a team this past season or under contract with a past NBA team. So guys like Paul George, like LeBron James, like OG, like Hartenstein, they can't talk to teams yet because free agency has not begun. They can talk to their own teams after the finals end. The Knicks can talk to Anunoby, and they can talk to Isaiah Hartenstein once the NBA finals are over, specifically Hartenstein, whose contract is just up. It's not an option like how OG has that player option he's going to decline. But with Culver and the type like this, you can go in and you can talk to teams. You can work out for them. They can decide if they like you. They can even sign you. Like, there's a whole lot of things that can work out if you are a free agent. So that's what the Knicks are doing. They're bringing in guys who can help this team. Now, we know that the New York Knicks felt like come the playoffs, they were worried about their bench depth. I think the Knicks have a great top nine. I think the bench depth after that was a little suspect, but nothing too crazy compared to other NBA teams. The problem is most of the Knicks' top nine were injured. So when you look at that, the Knicks clearly want to have a roster of a bunch of guys who can play in big minutes or can play in big moments, can really show up, can be comfortable after being on the bench for a while, and that's tough to do. I think that's why the Knicks have targeted veterans like Taj Gibson, who can kind of bounce in and out of the rotation and have experience with that, and someone like Daquan Jeffries, who's been in and out of rotations and on and off G League teams his entire NBA career. So with guys like that, it's understandable why they would want to maybe beef up that bench unit, so in case there's another series where literally every single player on the court for the Knicks gets injured, they could have guys at the back end, like what they had with Shake Milton, who they could throw into situations, and they've been there before, and they won't be nervous, or they'll be a lot less nervous than some guy who's never been there before. And then on top of that, you have their rookies who they're going to bring in. They're at least going to use one first-round pick this year. It's unclear who it'll be on. There's a few different names. Depends if they trade up, which is a pretty likely situation, I believe, as I talked about on the live stream. And really, I just think that when it comes to Jarrett Culver, that's what they're doing. They're taking a guy who's been in the NBA for 4 years. He did not make it to a team this year. He was in the G League. He had some good moments. And now the New York Knicks are seeing if they have anything with him. He's the type of guy who the Knicks would bring in and basically be like, yeah, you're going to be at the end of the bench, dude. But you know what? You've played before. You were a top pick in the NBA draft. We're going to get into that in 1 second. And we think that you could have a role at the end of the bench with this unit. So I think that's why it was a big deal that Culver was kind of getting this workout. And also because he was a top pick in the 2020 or the 2019 NBA draft, the same one that saw the Knicks draft RJ Barrett. And if you look here, the first pick was obviously Zion, followed by Ja and RJ and DeAndre Hunter and Darius Garland. And then Jarred Culver got drafted, technically by the Suns, but it was part of a trade that sent Culver to Minnesota for his first 2 seasons. And then things kind of fell apart from there. He was picked over guys like Kobe White, Rui Hachimura, Cam Johnson, Tyler Hero, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Goga Bitadze, all guys who have now had legit NBA careers, guys who are known to be solid players, and it's kind of a drastic fall off from that top 5 then to Jarrett Culver. I mean, Zion's an all-star. Zion's just great when he's healthy. Ja Morant is tremendous, one of the best point guards in the NBA. Not as good as Brunson, though. RJ Barrett's doing his thing in Toronto. We're always going to be big RJ fans at Knicks Digest. DeAndre Hunter, when he's on the court, he's good. He's a great defender, can hit threes from the corner consistently. Darius Garland, as long as he doesn't have to create his own shot, he's a great player. And then came Culver, who just could not get it going. And the Knicks had interest in Culver going into the 2019 NBA draft. He was really the one other guy who people kind of felt like it was a possibility who the Knicks might pick. Sort of Darius Garland also. But everyone knew that first was going to be Zion, and then second was going to be Ja Morant. Zion and RJ were the known top three, but RJ less so. He came in as the number one prospect, but Zion outplayed him in college, and then Ja Morant did his thing at Murray State. And even though RJ had one of the best one-and-done years in college basketball, it kind of got overlooked. People didn't know if he was going to pan out. I mean, he was an athletic freak at Duke. I have no idea what happened. I guess he gained weight and became a different type of player. But that guy who was a high flyer at Duke never really showed up in the NBA outside of his rookie year. Not in the sense that RJ never showed up for his career. He's actually balling in Toronto, shooting nearly 40% from three, putting up 22 points per game with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. So it's not that RJ's not doing his thing in Toronto. It's just he became a much different player than what we saw in college from this high flyer who was going downhill with a vengeance and was just going right through people or over them. And I think because maybe that was seen, the Knicks looked at guys like Darius Garland, like Jarrett Culver, and obviously Garland didn't get picked by the Knicks, and thank God, because then they never would have signed Jalen Brunson, and instead they'd have a point guard who can't create his own shot and is about to get traded off the Cavs anyway. And then the other option was Jarrett Culver, who I actually thought there was a very likely chance the Knicks would randomly just pick him, and I was definitely worried about it because I did not like Jarrett Culver's game. He had a good Texas Tech career, like, for the short time he was there, but, like, he was solid. It was a successful Texas Tech team, but I didn't see it. He just didn't pass my eye test. The shot was inconsistent. It still is. Was a good athlete, not a great one. He was a good defender, not a great one. I did not see Jarrett Culver panning out in the NBA at all. I didn't think it was going to happen, and, I mean, it didn't. If you look at Culver's 4-year career when he was in the league up until this year when he was in the G League, his best year was his rookie year, which happens a lot with guys because they just start losing minutes once teams realize that they just might not be him. Now, Culver couldn't even shoot over 30% from three at any point in his NBA career. Not finished because he could easily be back in the NBA, but shot 27.6% from deep with only 40% from the field. His defense wasn't good enough to keep him on the court. His PER was a 9.3 for his career. And outside of his rookie year, when he put up 9 points, outside of that, it was just kind of barely being in rotations. Couldn't get things going in Memphis at all. Gets moved to Atlanta where things just can't get going again. And he only played 10 games. So really, Jarrett Culver, it sucks to kind of give this guy that label, but Jarrett Culver is going to look back and people are going to notice him as a draft bust. Now the Knicks, I guess they see something they like, or it's more just a scenario of what if this guy has that mentality that he could fit on this team at the end of the bench and give the Knicks some great energy. That's what the Knicks are looking for. And when you look at Jarrett Culver in the G League, he's coming off his best season as a G Leaguer. He got up to 20.9 points per game this year while pulling down 7 rebounds, shot 38% from three, which is a drastic uptick even in last year. So there's a good chance that he's just been relentlessly working on that three-point shot. You know he wants to get back to the NBA and change the narrative about his career. He shot 46% from the field, which is not bad at all. His free throw numbers should be better than they were. I don't know how the hell in 3 games he shot 36% from the line because that's what Mitchell Robinson shoots, but okay. That was, I guess, a year ago. Clearly, Culver's worked on his game and his shot specifically. So maybe the Knicks see something that they want to go after and they want to try to bring in to the end of this bench. And if they believe in it, I'm fine with it. I trust Leon Rose. I trust that Tibbs can kind of knock some sense into Culver. I'm really interested to see how this thing goes. So, guys, if you want more updates on this, let me know in the comments down below. Like this video. Subscribe to Knicks Digest. Y'all know the drill. Turn on post notifications before you click off. Y'all know what's happening. Next Thursday, this Thursday and 3 days from now, we're back on the live stream. Come in, let's hang out, break down some Knicks trade talks, all that good stuff. It'll be a blast. But guys, that's it for me. Have a great day and go Knicks.